karma. That's when I realized I had to change. So I made a list of everything bad I've ever done, and one by one I'm going to make up for all my mistakes.
What if I told you that My Name is Earl was hiding jokes and secrets you probably never noticed? Like why Kentucky suddenly has palm trees, why Earl never manages to open his eyes in a single photo, or what Catalina was really saying in those fiery Spanish rants. Were they insults or something completely different? Stick around, because once you know the truth, you'll never see the show the same way again. When NBC rolled the dice on this oddball sitcom back in 2005, nobody expected a mustached ex-con with a handwritten karma list to capture so many hearts. But Earl, Randy, Joy, Crabman, and Catalina turned into TV icons, giving us cosmic justice, absurd comedy, and one of the most infamous cliffhangers in television history. Today, we're counting down 15 of the weirdest, funniest, and most surprising facts about My Name is Earl. And trust me, you'll want to hear number 1. 15. Palmtrees in Kentucky. Camden County, the fictional home of Earl Hickey, was supposed to be in Kentucky. But if you look closely, you'll notice something that makes absolutely no sense. Palm trees. Yep, in nearly every shot of the Crab Shack photos, palm trees are swaying in the background, like Camden County somehow sits on the Florida coast instead of landlocked Kentucky. So is this a mistake, a lazy stock photo swap, or an intentional joke? Nobody knows for sure. But in a world where karma is real, Randy becomes a chess prodigy, and a Crab Shack owner is secretly a CIA assassin, why not give Kentucky tropical weather too? It's just another surreal detail that makes the show unforgettable. 14. One actor played 3 siblings. Most fans never notice this clever casting trick, even after multiple rewatches. Actor Billy Gardell, who later starred in Mike and Molly, actually played 3 different characters on My Name is Earl, and they were all siblings. He appeared as Billy Ho, Officer Jeff Ho, and even their sister. The secret was in the details. New hairstyles, costumes, and mannerisms made each version feel unique. Unless you were paying close attention, you'd just assume Camden County had a lot of people who looked strangely alike. It was a classic early 2000s TV move. Budgets were tight, but creativity was limitless. How to do anything wrong.
Okay, somebody needs to tell me exactly what the problem is.
I'll tell you what the problem is. I sent this doofus to the fair to find a way to make us some money, and he ends up spending only cash we have left on some stupid soccer mom toast.
13. Earl's name was a handwriting accident. Earl Hickey was never meant to be Earl at all. His parents originally wanted to name him Carl after his father. But when the birth certificate was filled out, his dad's sloppy cursive C looked so much like an E that Carl officially became Earl. It's a tiny mistake, but it completely shaped his life, and it feels like something that could have been a plot twist inside the show itself. The man who believed every bad thing was karmic payback had his very name decided by random chance. In a way, Earl's entire journey was set in motion before he was even old enough to do anything wrong. 12. The Mallrats reunion. Before Earl and Randy were brothers fixing karma in Camden County, Jason Lee and Ethan Suplee were already partners in comedy. Back in 1995, they both starred in Kevin Smith's cult classic Mallrats. Lee played Brody Bruce, the sarcastic slacker obsessed with comic books, while Suplee played William, the mall security guard constantly battling chaos. So when creator Greg Garcia cast them as brothers on My Name is Earl, it wasn't a coincidence. He wanted actors who already had real chemistry. For longtime fans, it felt like a reunion of 2 lovable slackers who'd finally grown up. Well, sort of.
Looking for the hidden picture.
If you stare at these things long enough, you're supposed to see some kind of hidden 3-dimensional picture.
11. Earl's Franken car. Earl's trusty El Camino wasn't the smooth classic ride it looked like on screen. In reality, it was a Frankenstein car, pieced together from 3 different vehicles. The main body came from a 1973 El Camino. The door was borrowed from a 1977 model, and under the hood sat a transmission from a 1987 Camaro.
We were neck and neck until we got both cars up to about 30. Then they quit on us.
Car enthusiasts who looked closely might have noticed the mismatched lines and door handles. But honestly, that's what made it perfect. Just like Earl himself, the car was built out of scraps, patched together from whatever worked, and somehow kept moving forward. It wasn't flawless, but it got the job done. just like Earl on his list. 10. Amigos de Garcia in the credits. If you've ever let the credits roll at the end of My Name is Earl, you might have spotted something unusual. Instead of a standard production logo, every episode ended with a card that read, Amigos de Garcia. And each week, it featured a different friend of creator Greg Garcia. Across 96 episodes, that meant 96 people got their own little moment of TV immortality. Most of them didn't even know until they saw it on screen. While other shows ended with boring logos, Garcia used the credits to celebrate friendship, literally spreading good karma one episode at a time. 9. The father-son casting gag. Sometimes casting is more than just filling roles. It's a built-in joke. In My Name is Earl, Burt Reynolds played Richard Big Chubby, while comedian Norm Macdonald played his son, Little Chubby. Funny enough on its own, but here's the kicker. Norm spent years on Saturday Night Live doing brutal parodies of Burt Reynolds, especially in the legendary Celebrity Jeopardy sketches. So when the two were cast as father and son, it was a sly wink to comedy fans. Reynolds had always been a good sport about the impersonations, and Norm finally got to share scenes with the man he once mocked. For die-hard SNL fans, it was comedy karma at its finest. Before we continue with the video and my further explanation about the 15 facts, I want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and help me out. Okay, let's continue. 8. Camden. Named after Garcia's son. Camden County, the quirky hometown of Earl Hickey, wasn't named after a random place. It was actually named after creator Greg Garcia's real-life son, Camden. Every time you saw a Welcome to Camden sign, it wasn't just set dressing. It was a personal tribute from a father to his child. The town of Camden became the heart of the show, a place where second chances were possible, where neighbors knew each other, and where karma could actually make things right. For Garcia's son, it meant growing up with an entire fictional community named in his honor. Talk about the ultimate dad move. 7. Randy's real dad is the mailman.
That's a straight-up street baller move right there, Willie. You like the Karl Malone of mailmen. How much, Carl?
Sometimes a little family casting adds an extra layer of charm. The one-eyed mailman in My Name is Earl was played by Bill Suplee, the real-life father of Ethan Suplee, who of course played Randy. Most viewers never knew, but it made Camden County feel even more authentic, like the kind of small town where everyone really is connected. Bill wasn't just a throwaway cameo either. His character had personality, gruff humor, and fit right into the show's offbeat world. The natural chemistry between father and son added realism without anyone even realizing it. Sometimes the best acting happens when it isn't acting at all. 6. A real injury in the Cops parody. Episode 1 of the funniest episodes of My Name is Earl was its parody of the reality show Cops, complete with shaky cameras, chaotic arrests, and over-the-top drama. But not everything that made it to screen was scripted. During filming, one of the actors playing a police officer accidentally slammed his own face with a car door. Instead of cutting the scene, the producers kept it in, because the actor recovered instantly and stayed in character. The result? A real-life blooper became part of the episode. It was clumsy, hilarious, and honestly, the most Earl thing that could have happened. 5. Darnell was a genius assassin. For most of the series, Darnell Turner, better known as Crabman, seemed like the chillest guy in Camden County. He flipped crab cakes, offered Earl advice, and lived a laid-back life with joy. But then came one of the wildest twists in sitcom history. Darnell was actually Harry Monroe, a CIA-trained assassin hiding in witness protection. Suddenly, all of his calm wisdom and random knowledge made perfect sense. That wasn't just Zen, it was professional training. He wasn't just helpful, he was dangerously skilled, fluent in multiple languages, capable of improvising under pressure, and trained to survive anything. Crabman turned out to be the deadliest character on the show. It was absurd, hilarious, and yet somehow fit perfectly into a world where karma ruled and nothing was ever quite as it seemed. 4. The list was never supposed to end. Earl's handwritten list was the heart of the show. Every episode, he crossed off another bad deed in his quest for good karma. But here's the twist. According to creator Greg Garcia, Earl was never supposed to actually finish it. The vision wasn't about completing every task. Instead, The point was that Earl's actions would inspire others. His good deeds would ripple through Camden County until everyone was helping each other, creating an endless chain reaction of kindness.
You know, I ran into John Shepherd down the street. He said Earl came by and paid for a window he broke 15 years ago.
The list would eventually become irrelevant because the entire town would be living by Earl's example. It's a surprisingly profound idea for a quirky sitcom. One man's attempt to right his wrongs could change an entire community. Sadly, the show ended before we ever saw this vision play out. Earl's list wasn't meant to be a finish line. It was meant to be a spark.
I'm making fun of people because they look a little different, just like I did with Maggie. Look, karma brought us here for a reason. I mean, what good is it to cross Maggie off the list if I'm going to keep doing the same thing to other people?
3. The show was canceled on a cliffhanger. If there's one thing fans of My Name is Earl still can't forgive, it's the way the show ended. After 4 seasons of Earl working through his list, the series closed with a shocking revelation. Earl Jr. might not actually be Earl's son. Just as viewers were left wondering how this twist would affect Earl's journey, NBC pulled the plug. No resolution, no answers, just a dangling cliffhanger that's gone down as one of TV's most frustrating cancellations. Fans begged for closure, but it never came. Creator Greg Garcia later explained his plan. Earl wouldn't finish the list. The bigger idea was the community paying it forward. But hearing about it online isn't the same as watching it unfold. The irony? A show built on the idea of karma never got its own karmic justice. Earl spent years making up for his mistakes, but the network never made up for theirs. 2. Earl never opens his eyes in photos. Here's a detail hiding in plain sight across all 4 seasons. Earl Hickey never manages to keep his eyes open in a single photo. Driver's license, family portraits, childhood snapshots, even mugshots. He's always caught mid-blink or squinting at the wrong moment. This wasn't bad luck for Jason Lee or sloppy prop work. It was a deliberate running gag, maintained by the production team from start to finish. And it fits Earl perfectly. His entire life was defined by bad timing and missed chances, so of course he'd never have a decent photo. Once you notice it, you can't unsee it.
Quiero agradecer a todo el público latino que nos acompaña cada semana y para los que no son latinos, les felicito por aprender otro idioma.
1. Catalina's secret speeches. For years, Catalina's fiery Spanish rants were a highlight of My Name is Earl. Whenever Joy, Earl, or anyone else pushed her buttons, she'd unleash rapid-fire Spanish that sounded like the most brutal insults imaginable. Since the show never provided subtitles, most viewers assumed she was tearing everyone apart with the sharpest comebacks in TV history. But here's the twist. Catalina wasn't insulting anyone. She was actually thanking Spanish-speaking viewers for watching the show. Actress Nadine Velasquez delivered each rant with such passion and fury that English-speaking audiences never questioned it. Meanwhile, bilingual fans were in on the secret. Catalina was breaking the fourth wall to spread gratitude, not anger. It's the perfect hidden detail for a series built on karma. Something that looked like rage on the surface was really kindness underneath. Catalina wasn't cursing people out. She was sending love to an entire community of viewers. A secret thank you wrapped in one of the show's funniest running gags. And there you have it. 15 weird, surprising, and downright hilarious facts about My Name is Earl. From Palmtrees in Kentucky to Crabman's secret assassin life, from Earl's unlucky photos to Catalina's hidden messages, the show was filled with details most of us missed the first time around. That's what made it so special. Beneath the laughs and the chaos, there was always more going on than met the eye. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Did you already catch some of them, or are you planning to rewatch the series with fresh eyes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this trip back to Camden County, don't forget to give this video a like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss more hidden gems and retro TV deep dives. That's good karma.